Have you ever wondered how people centuries ago looked up at the night sky and made sense of it all without any of our modern gadgets? Well, we're going to dive into this amazing historical exchange that kicks off with a really simple question, but wow, it reveals a perspective that sounds surprisingly modern.
So, everything starts right here with this one question, asked a long, long time ago to a scholar named Imam al-Sadiq. It's the kind of question a kid might ask, right? But the answer he gave, it was anything but childish. It was sharp, precise, and honestly, way ahead of its time. And there you have it. No myths, no stories about gods and fiery chariots, just a straight up, simple, and scientifically correct statement. The moon does not have its own light. That one answer tells you right away that we're dealing with a worldview that was based on some really careful observation.
But see, it was about so much more than just the moon. This viewpoint wasn't some one-size-fits-all idea. It was this nuanced understanding that the heavens were filled with all these different, unique objects, each with its own thing going on. And that led to some even more detailed thinking. And when I say detailed, I mean really specific. For the moon, not having light meant it had to be reflecting it. For Venus, the idea that it increases in brightness is a perfect description of its super high albedo and the phases we can see from Earth. And for Jupiter and Mars, talking about their different energies, well, that suggests they knew these weren't just identical little lights, but different worlds with their own unique makeup.
So the key idea connecting all of this is something called albedo. It's just the fancy scientific term for what they were observing, basically how much light a planet bounces back. A planet like Venus, with its thick, crazy cloud cover, has a really high albedo, and that's exactly why it looks so incredibly bright to us. This ancient insight was basically describing a core concept in astronomy today. Okay, so this ancient viewpoint was pretty sharp about what these celestial bodies are, but what about what they do? Aha, this is where things take a really fascinating philosophical turn, moving away from simple fortune-telling towards a much deeper idea.
And it all comes down to this really important distinction. On one side, you've got influence, the idea that, yeah, maybe celestial bodies have subtle effects on us, kind of like how the moon pulls on the tides. But on the other side, you've got destiny, this rigid belief that the stars literally control your life. And this worldview, it completely rejected the idea of destiny. So the big takeaway here is that they saw a universe of function, not fate. The planets and stars, they had jobs to do. They were markers for the seasons, for natural cycles, but they were not pulling our strings. And that is such a powerful idea because it means we have free will. It preserves our agency. Your choices are yours. They aren't written up there in the sky.
So how do you explain an idea that's so complex, a universe that's orderly and works perfectly, but doesn't control you? Well, you use an analogy, a really powerful, really elegant analogy. And the one used here it's just perfect. Just let that sink in for a second. A clock tells time, but does not cause the day. I mean, how brilliant is that? It's such a clear way to separate what's an indicator from what's a cause. The clock is a perfect tool for measuring the day's progress, but it has absolutely zero power to make the sun rise or set.
And the logic is just so beautifully simple. Just like a clock measures time but doesn't create it, the stars can indicate natural cycles without causing our personal destiny. They're part of this amazing machinery of the universe. They're the dials and hands, but they aren't the author of your story. The whole analogy just perfectly splits the function of the cosmos from the fate of you and me. So, why does all this ancient stuff matter to us now? Because it speaks to a challenge we all still face. How do we find our place in this huge, orderly universe without feeling like we've lost our freedom, our own sense of purpose? And this is the heart of it, really. This is more than just an old story about stars. It's a sophisticated way of looking at the world. It gives you a framework to appreciate the magnificent order of the cosmos, the predictable orbits, the natural cycles, that whole cosmic clock, while at the same time celebrating the fact that our own lives are not predetermined. Our choices actually matter. And that kind of leaves us with this final big thought. This whole perspective lives right at that amazing intersection where observation meets meaning, where science and philosophy shake hands. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other incredible wisdom is just waiting for us in those spaces, where we stop just asking, what is it? And we start asking, yeah, but what does it all mean?